Constructed in 1889, this museum is one of the best archaeological museums in the world, with some famous and unique artifacts and sculptures from various locations across the ancient Greek world. The museum has over 50 rooms on multiple floors, so there are a lot of things to see here. This is James. Join us as we explore History Victorums' top 21 things to see at the National Archaeological Museum of Athens. Number 21, Sculpture from Epidaurus. You may know Epidaurus from its famous theater. These waterspouts in the shape of lions were once part of a building built in the middle of the 4th century BC, which was above a mysterious underground labyrinth. We are not sure of its purpose, but may have related to the god of healing, Asclepius. Also, we can see the remains of the sack of Troy from the temple of Asclepius, much of which is lost, but we can make out the head of King Priam. Number 20, the Chariot of Diocletian. Pieces of this chariot were found at Nicomedia in modern-day Turkey, where the Roman Emperor Diocletian had a palace. On the sides there are bronze statues of panthers chasing deer and other animals. On the top is Bacchus holding a cup of wine. The sides contain sea centaurs and sea nymphs, and in the center are 5 of the labors of Hercules. Number 19, Statue of a Fighting Gaul. This dates from about 100 BC and was found at the island of Delos. The Romans conquered Gaul, which is now mostly modern-day France and Belgium, in 52 BC. This statue shows a wounded Gaul attempting to defend himself with his left arm. His helmet lies next to him on the ground. Number 18, the Golden Treasure of Karpenisi. These objects come from the mountainous region of Karpenisi in central Greece, and are from the 4th to 2nd century BC. Some highlights include this elaborate gold belt, these bracelets crafted in the shape of snakes, and these hairnets with statuettes of goddesses Artemis and Aphrodite. Number 17, Varvekeon Athena. Inside the Parthenon there was once a great statue to Athena, made of gold and ivory, and almost 40 feet tall. This statue is lost to us today, melted down for its precious metals. You can get an idea of what this statue would have looked like from the Varvekeon Athena, which is a copy of the statue that was in the Parthenon, and was made between 200 and 250 BC. Number 16, the Dipylon Amphora. At over 5 feet tall, this was made by the artist known as the Dipylon Master, one of the earliest Greek artists we can identify today. This was a funerary monument found at Keramikos cemetery in Athens, and dates from 750 BC. It shows a scene of a deceased figure, surrounded by mourners wailing and tearing at their hair. Number 15, the Cyclidic harp player. Found at the island of Kouros, this marble statue dates from about 4,500 years ago and is one of the earliest representations we have of a figure playing a musical instrument. At about 9 inches tall, the seated male plays a harp or a lyre, the top of which may have been formed in the shape of a swan or a duck. Number 14, the Ninnion Tablet. This tablet was found at Eleusis and dates from about 370 BC. It was common in ancient Greece to travel to Eleusis to be initiated into one of the most sacred religious practices of ancient Greece. The Eleusinian Mysteries, as it's known today, were open to everyone, but you can only attend once in your life. After you attend, you are sworn to secrecy. What happened at the Eleusinian Mysteries is lost to us. This tablet is the only known representation of the initiation rites of the Eleusinian Mysteries. Number 13, the Kouros and Koronaios collection. Kouros were more idealized human forms, which came before the lifelike representations we will see later. This one, from the Temple of Poseidon at Cape Sunion, is 10 feet tall and dates from about 600 BC. Other highlights include the Anavisos Kouros, which blurs the line between the stiff former Kouros and the later, lifelike statues. And number 12, the Diadem Bearer. This was a famous bronze statue in its time, which is lost to us today. Found at the island of Delos and made sometime around 100 BC, this fine marble copy is about 6.5 feet tall and shows a man lifting his arms to knot a ribbon around his head, called a diadem, which identifies him as a winner of an athletic competition. At his feet, there is a quiver around a tree stump, indicating that it could have been a competition of archery. And number 11, the statue of Aphrodite and Pan. Also found at the island of Delos and created about 100 BC, this elaborate sculpture shows a scene of Aphrodite, Pan, and a flying Eros, also known as Cupid. Unlike the serious depictions of goddesses in previous centuries, this later sculpture has a much more playful aspect. Pan is making advances on Aphrodite, while she threatens to strike him with a sandal in her right hand. Eros seems to separate the two, although he doesn't look too upset about it. Some say he could actually be the instigator of the situation. Number 10, the Epinetron of Aphrodite. These objects were used to cover the thigh when making thread. Although this one was probably not used in practice, it has a roughened top for separating thread. Found at Eretria, it was painted by the artist known as the Eretria painter, who was an influential artist in his time and was known for painting on unusual shaped surfaces. It is decorated with several scenes of weddings in Greek mythology. This is thought to have possibly been given as a wedding gift. And number 9, the Funerary Monuments from Keramikos. These monuments once came from the Keramikos cemetery in Athens. They have various and often subtle scenes. The most famous is the grave stele of Hegiso, dating from 410 to 400 BC. The deceased woman gazes at a piece of jewelry, possibly a necklace, which was previously rendered in paint, presented to her by her servant. Number 8, the bronze head of a boxer. One of my absolute favorites. This one was discovered at Olympia around 330 BC. It depicts a boxer with a swollen right eye. As the victor, he wears a wreath of olive leaves crowned on his head. Number 7, the marble statue of Poseidon, or the Poseidon of Milos. The statue of Poseidon was found at the island of Milos and dates from the 2nd century BC. It is nearly 8 feet tall and once held a trident. Unlike bronze statues, marble statues often needed support due to their weight, and this support was added brilliantly in the form of a dolphin on his right side. At number 6, the Jockey of Artemission. Many of the bronze statues of antiquity were melted down and reused, so it's rare to find statues such as this one. This was found at the shipwreck of Cape Artemission and dates from around 150 to 140 BC. It's thought to represent a single horse race. The horse is almost life-size at about 7 feet tall and 9 feet long. A boy rides the horse without a saddle, holding the reins with one hand and looks backward over his shoulder. And number 5, the Antikythera Mechanism. Found on a sunken shipwreck, this device was made up of over 30 bronze gears. Sometimes known as the world's first computer, the device is thought to have been used to predict the movements of the solar system, including eclipses, which were known as bad omens at the time. It predicts the phases of the moon almost perfectly into 19 solar years, even with the variable speed of the moon as it gets closer to the Earth during its orbit. At number 4, the Akrotiri Collection. This includes finds from the city of Akrotiri on the island of Santorini, which was buried under the ash over 3,500 years ago. This allowed the city to be preserved, and we have amazing objects and frescoes from the city itself. Some famous frescoes include the boxing boys, the antelopes, the fishermen, and the ship procession from the West House. At number 3, the Youth from Antikythera. This bronze statue was found on the famous shipwreck of Antikythera Mechanism, which we saw earlier. This dates from around 340 to 330 BC. We aren't sure who it represents and what was in its outstretched hand. Interpretations are that it could be Paris, holding the golden apple of discord to Aphrodite, or Perseus holding the head of Medusa. Number 2, the God of Artemission. This was found on the same shipwreck as the horsed jockey we saw earlier. This is an older sculpture which dates around 400 to 440 BC. These bronze statues were often decorated with precious metals, and the eyebrows were likely originally decorated with silver, and the lips and nipples with copper. We're not sure who the statue represents, but it has 2 main interpretations, either Poseidon throwing a trident or Zeus hurling a thunderbolt. Based on other depictions of Zeus like this one from the Louvre, personally, I'm on Team Zeus. But if you're on Team Poseidon and want to convert me, let me know in the comments. At number 1, the Treasures of Mycenaean Civilization. This contains a hoard of objects from the ancient civilization of Mycenae, famous to us today for the writings of Homer and the Trojan War. Some famous objects include this warrior vase, the dagger depicting a lion hunt, the cup of Nestor with small doves on the handles, and the funerary mask, with the modern nickname, the Mask of Agamemnon. If you want more information, feel free to watch our other videos as well on Akrotiri, Mycenae, and other places. And if there's anything else that you'd like to add to the list, let us know in the comments. Thanks for watching.